Ever feel like family arguments are just going in circles?
Yeah, like you're speaking different languages.
Exactly. It's super frustrating. But what if there's a way to break out of those communication ruts?
Oh, totally. A way to understand the madness.
Yeah. And that's what we're diving into today. Organized communication.
Interesting.
It's this idea from the book, Organized Communication, strengthening family bonds through clarity and consistency.
Seems pretty structured.
It is, but it's not about like becoming robots or anything.
Yeah, right.
It's more about creating this healthy framework so families can actually, connect better.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, provide some structure so you can actually get to the heart of things.
Yeah, and the book really focuses on how this can strengthen family bonds.
It makes sense, right?
Why is communication so important to having strong relationships?
Well, I think it comes down to trust.
Okay, yeah.
Like when you have organized communication, you're creating this environment where people feel safe.
Like they can be vulnerable.
Exactly. When you know you're going to be heard and not judged, you're more likely to open up and share your real feelings.
Which is what creates deeper understanding. Right.
Exactly. That's how you build those strong connections.
And this book really emphasizes clarity and consistency.
Mm.
What does that actually look like in a family?
Well, think about things like having regular family meetings.
Oh, interesting.
It doesn't have to be super formal. Just set aside some time, even just 5 minutes for each person, to talk about their week.
I like that.
What were their highs and lows? And really listen without interrupting.
So it's about creating space for open communication.
Yeah, a consistent space where everyone feels heard.
But let's be real for a second.
Sure.
Life gets in the way.
All the time.
People have busy schedules. Sometimes you're just not in the mood to talk.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've all been there. But consistency isn't about being perfect.
It's about trying.
Exactly. It's about making that effort. Even if you can only do a family meeting, every other week, or you have to adjust the format a little bit, it's about keeping that communication a priority.
I see. So even if it's not perfect, keep making time for it.
Right. Just keep showing up.
And what about that clarity piece?
Hmm.
How can families, especially when they're having a tough conversation, make sure they're really understanding each other?
Well, clarity is about two things, really. Expressing yourself clearly and then making sure you're understanding the other person.
Those two-way.
Yeah. Like using I statements when you talk about your feelings, avoiding blaming language,
Right, right.
And then actively listening, summarizing what the other person said to make sure you're both on the same page.
So it's almost like learning a new language.
It is, kind of. The language of good communication.
Thinking about all this, what's one area of communication in your own family that you think could be improved?
That's a great question for everyone to think about. And remember, this is a journey. There will be times when things get messy, but even those small steps towards organized communication, they can make a big difference.
It's not about being perfect, it's about making progress.
Exactly.
And it makes me think, if this can work so well in families, could these same principles also apply to our other relationships,
Oh, that's interesting.
like with friends, in the workplace,
Yeah.
even in our communities?
Hmm.
That's something to think about. And that wraps up our deep dive for today.
Thanks for listening.